Some of you may have noticed a slightly different configuration on stage. Phil has a thing called a monitor pointing at him, which is a loudspeaker. He can't hear, we can't hear what you're hearing because the speakers are way out there. So in order for us to hear ourselves, intonate and tune, and to be all moody in that, we need the sound coming back at us. So Phil has a little PA there, a little speaker there and there. Now I've had a slight technological development. I've got these things in my ears, these little speakers, which are perfectly fitted to mould in my ear. The way they're made is this lady in London that specialises squirts warm plastic into your ear. And when it's set, she pulls it out, a bit like a l'escargot, and that becomes the mould that these tiny little speakers are put into. So I can hear, Josh can send me every single note, which is fantastic. Except I can't hear you bastards. I have no idea whether you're laughing or clapping or whatever. I'm completely in my own musical world. And if Josh thinks that my morale is dropping, he turns up the audience level, so I think that we're going down much better than we are, which is... So in order to compensate and for me to hear the room, you'll notice there's a microphone there and there, pointing at you lot. And he can turn that microphone up so I can hear you as if I'm out in the room. Now these mics are very directional, and the other day at the Minack Theatre we did the big sort of end of a song, and someone said, sitting just there, "Oh, I really didn't like that at all." And it was like, it was as if they were whispering in my ear. You know? So if you're sitting just there, can you try not to yawn or anything like that? Because I can hear every single little detail. Here's another new song called The Ride. Near where I live, just outside Clisson, Mary, there's a fairground locked away for the winter. Obviously it's been there for most of the last year. And I drive by this all the time without really thinking too much about it, but I wanted to use it as a metaphor for lockdown. And the owner of the fair has to say to his son, look, no county shows this year, no fairgrounds, so we are unable to go out and do what we've been doing, or the family's been doing for generations. And in order to find some poetry for it, I asked Josh, our sound engineer, who has familiarity with that world, for some expressions. And he said, well, that's actually called the winter yards. And I thought, what a great image that is for where we've all been the last year, locked away in our winter yards. And he said the boss will be called the gaffer. Typically, if he's called Harry, the son will be called Harry Jr. And they're not called the rides, they're called the loads. It's not a carousel, we're calling the gallopers. So I needed all these expressions, the tilt and the flash and the moving days and the breaking ground. But in particular, I like the idea of the winter yard. So the father's saying to the son, look, this year there's nothing for us. And the son is saying, okay, let's hope that the loads return again. And so it's got a bit of a lift at the end with June the 21st in mind. Yeah, we'll see. This is a ride. The old man called me in last night, told me we had lost the fight, and the only way to make it right was to close the old fair down. He said, I'm really sorry, son, I will pay you for the work you've done, but I won't keep you hanging on till summer rolls around. For 100 years my family's worked these grounds, the county show, the village green and the market towns, but now it's over. Now it's over. All up there in our winter yards, a travelling life had left the scars on the gallopers and the bumper cars, all shining in the rain. And as we pack the gear away, I promise back one day. For one last ride I'd gladly pay to work these loads again. For I don't believe our way of life is past. Oh, the smell of dust and diesel and onion mown grass, the tilt, the flash, the build up and the pulling down. I miss the moving days and the marking out the ground. Now it's over. Now it's over. So I head down to my brother's farm, where the winter work will keep me warm. Turn my collar to the northern storms, I'll shelter to the spring. But there's one thing every showman knows: people still need a place to go. For a film, a fair, a dance, a show, where we can shout and sing. And I'll drag my weary gaffer to his feet. I'll say, look, the summer's here and there's people in the streets. Oh, your lockdown winter yard's no place to hide. So step right up and walk this way. Everyone's a winner on that sweet day when we welcome back the rise. Let's welcome back the rise. Walk this way.